Hello students, welcome to our flipped lesson on subject and verb agreement. Today our goal is to choose the correct verb when given a tricky subject. So today we'll be talking about several different types of tricky subjects. Now for the most part you guys get subject and verb agreement. The rule is that a verb must agree in number, meaning singular or plural, with its subject. Now a singular subject will take a singular verb, which are verbs that end in S. It's the opposite of nouns. Nouns that end in S are plural, but verbs that end in S are singular. And the other rule is that plural subjects then will take plural verbs. These are usually pretty easy. For example, Cindy is the subject of the sentence. She's singular, so we're going to take the singular verb that ends in S, is. In the second sentence, children is the subject, which is plural. We'll take the verb that does not end in S, that is the plural verb. Now the problem is that we have some tricky situations with subjects. First of all, words can often come between the subject and the verb. It can make it difficult to choose the correct verb for the sentence then. So one of our rules is to eliminate prepositional and appositive phrases to determine the true subject of the sentence. So for example, I'm going to cross off of the files the prep phrase. It's not the subject. One is the subject. One is singular, so I'm going to choose the singular verb that ends in S, was. And the second sentence, in my car, is a prepositional phrase, so I'm going to eliminate it. The subject is women, which is plural, so I'll choose the verb that does not end in S. And then in the next sentence, the best speaker in forensics is an appositive that identifies Jessica, who is the subject, and is singular, so I'm going to choose the singular verb is. Now, another kind of tricky subject involves indefinite pronouns. You've seen these words before. The rule is that singular indefinite pronouns take singular verbs, while plural indefinite pronouns take plural verbs. You have three lists here. The first list is singular, the second list is plural, and the third list are the pronouns that can be singular or plural depending upon what they refer to. Pause this screen, write down each of these lists. You will need them for this lesson and yet another lesson. Now, let's take a look at some indefinite pronoun examples. In the first sentence, I'm going to cross off of the girls because it's a prep phrase, it's not the subject. The word each is the subject. Each is an indefinite pronoun and it's singular. So when we say each, we're really saying each one. One is singular. So I'm going to choose the singular verb has. Now this sounds a little strange, but it is grammatically correct. Each of the girls has a pretty prom dress. In the second sentence, of my students is a prep phrase, so I'm going to get rid of it. Several is the subject. It's more than one. Several is always more than one, so it's plural. So then I'm going to choose that plural verb, want. In the next sentence, I'm going to cross off the prep phrase of my time. Some is the subject. However, some is on the list of pronoun or of subjects, indefinite pronouns that can be singular or plural. So I have to still look at the prep phrase to say what is some referencing? Some of what? Time, which is singular, so I'm going to choose the singular verb is. In the next sentence, of my activities is the prep phrase to get rid of, and then my subject is none, which could be singular or plural, so I have to say what is none referencing? None of what? Activities is plural, so I'm going to choose are, the plural verb in this sentence. Our next type of tricky subject is compound subjects. Now there are two rules that we're going to cover here. The first involves the use of the word and. A compound subject joined by and usually requires a plural verb. There is an exception though. If the compound subject that is joined by and names a singular item, you treat it as if it's singular and take a singular verb. So let's look at some examples. In the first example, the author and the movie producer. I have a compound subject, all right? Actually, I have two subjects, author, movie producer. They're joined by and, which makes them plural. So I'm going to choose that plural verb are. Now in the next sentence, I have the same conjunction and, which is joining two items together, rhythm and blues. Now the issue is that rhythm and blues is a musical style, and a style is a singular item, so I need to take a singular verb. Some other examples of compounds that are singular might be something like macaroni and cheese is my favorite food. Now in the next section, let's talk about the other rule for compound subjects. If a compound subject is joined by the words or nor, the verb agrees with the subject closest to it. Here's a little word tip that might help you. When you see or nor, ignore everything before. So let's take a look at some examples. I see the word or, I ignore everything before, which